All right, I'm here at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. You can see the sphere behind me. I'm going to check that out for the first time tonight, try to take in a show. But today I'm heading out to hear some of the speakers here at the Bitcoin conference. A lot of them are political this year. And so we're really getting a view of Bitcoin from the regulation perspective, or at least what might be the regulation perspective going forward. We know that we have an administration that has declared themselves to be the most pro-Bitcoin president ever. And we're going to be hearing from the Trump boys today, as well as JD Vance, on what that's going to look like in the years ahead. But I want to caution everybody, as we are near all-time highs, that in previous Bitcoin conferences, it was a buy the rumor, sell the news, because once everyone gets their eyes on it and they get all excited and it begins to move higher, well, sometimes there's selling into strength. We are near the highs. Now, I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying be mindful and don't be surprised if we see a drop off right after the event or after the main keynote speaker. It's at that point that I saw it last year. That keynote speaker was Donald Trump, and it was going up while he was speaking, and then mid-speech, it began to sell off. What was happening? It was a sell the news event. That's very, very normal. Now, in addition to that, we're going into this week with another heavy-hitting news event, a major catalyst, and that's going to be NVIDIA's earnings. And that's going to tell us whether or not the AI story is intact and whether or not AI can beat the macro recessionary fears that we've been dealing with recently. It's got to be a shock and awe win for NVIDIA's stock to go higher and for it to pick up the rest of the market, all of big tech, and climb. Now, yesterday's video was about 2 hot AI picks, and I said that these are going to outperform NVIDIA if NVIDIA continues to climb, especially as we get closer to earnings. These are going to go up more, a higher percentage point. And boy, was that right. Today, these absolutely soared. On one of them, and I'm going to briefly go over the charts here in just a second, but on one of them, I gave a highlight this morning in GOAT Alerts in the Stocks with Josh community. I said this one, if it gets above this price point, it's going to rip. I'll show you that chart here in just a minute. But those turned out to be hot plays with huge opportunity. Let me know in the comments section if you got a piece of it. Now, before I get deeper into this video, I want to highlight the fact that I'm doing a special event, a technical boot camp that I've never done before. Publicly, I'm going to be doing it this Saturday. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment for access to that event. I want you to check it out. Matter of fact, let me play you a short video to give you a better idea of what we're going to be doing. Check this out.
What if one workshop could change the way you trade forever? Josh and I are hosting a live 2-hour workshop where I'll be teaching you all things skips. A smarter, lower risk option strategy I actually developed and trademarked to help you grow your portfolio without gambling.
And I'll be diving into charting mastery, from indicators that work to how to spot trend reversals before they happen.
It's all happening Saturday, May the 31st at 6 p.m. EST, and spots are limited.
Click the link below to secure your spot and thank us later when you turn your trades into a Wall Street ATM.
Trust us, your future self will thank you.
Okay, as you can see, I'm doing this together with Trading with Ashley. It's going to be an incredible event. We're going to be looking at how to trade skips and how to identify the right technicals to enter and exit those types of plays. I think it's going to be absolute fire. Don't miss your spot. And even if you can't attend, if you do buy a ticket, you will be able to watch it at a later date. It's going to be available for you. So make sure you don't miss out on it. Okay, let's talk about what's going on this week. I've mentioned in my yesterday's video, and I won't even bother going over it again today, we've got bearish macro hanging over this market, things that are not resolved. And so it's going to have to come down to a company like NVIDIA, which is the last big tech company to report before the end of this current quarter is wrapped up. This is the last big tech company to report. As I mentioned over 30 days ago, that until we got to this point, the markets were going to chop higher. Well, it's all going to hinge on the market this week, Wednesday. We've got some important data events that are coming out Thursday and Friday, but this week is going to decide the fate of the markets. I told you that we would chop higher all the way till this week, and that possibly if the market reacts positively to NVIDIA's earnings, we could get another boost up next week. But at that point, we're going to be nearing a place where you want to be locking in some profits because things are getting frothy. I'm at the hotel and somebody, room service, is knocking at the door. So I'll try to keep focused and get this video out for you guys because I got to get to that Bitcoin show and hear some of those speakers. All right, let's talk real quick about what happened with NVTS this morning. Let's go look at that chart. This morning, I just want to highlight this. I brought this stock pick to you guys yesterday, and I told you there was two ways of playing it. You're either going to play for a little bit of a pullback and a bounce off of $4. And this morning in the Stocks with Josh Discord, I told everybody, I said, hey, this thing is hot. It might not pull back. The next zone to get in would be a breakout above 510. And I gave everybody the target of 750. And wouldn't you know it, less than 3 pennies off. Perfect target, shot up to my 750, and it's pulled back a little bit. This is exactly what I was hoping or expecting for out of NVTS going into earnings. Now, I will caution you that even though this could climb higher, if NVIDIA has a really, really good earnings event, this could absolutely push up to $9 to $10 next. I want to tell you, though, that it's just had a huge move. This went up 50%. Since I did the video yesterday, you want to make sure that you put a stop loss in or keep an eagle eye on this trade to lock in your profits because it's moving in sympathy with NVIDIA. And if NVIDIA pulls back, well, you know what's going to happen to it. It's going to pull back harder. It's going to go below $4, down to $3, down to $2.50. And somebody said in the comment section, I don't normally like to give attention to any form of negativity, but I just got to make a little comment here. Somebody said, in my comment section yesterday, when I shared this trade, they said, well, I'm taking the opposite position. I'm going inverse of you, Joshua. I loaded up on puts. Well, don't know what to tell you there, my friend. That didn't work out now, did it? Lock in the gains, guys. We're up 50% in one day on the other play because it wasn't the only play I gave you. I gave you guys this stock. Let me jump you back into the charts real quick. crwv. crwv, and the trade was for a breakout above 113. We could enter it on a pullback to around this $88 range for a bounce, and I said, or we could take it for a breakout above 113. Now, this is still pushing higher, and I'm going to tell you right now that we're in a similar spot. We've had a huge move up. This thing has moved up around 20% in a single day from yesterday's video. And ultimately, my target is 135, but I would tell you that you want to tighten up that stop loss because it's burning higher. Now, these absolutely can continue to run as long as NVIDIA does not disappoint. So let's have a little conversation about what smart money is thinking about NVIDIA right now, because the charts are almost identical to where they were when the NVIDIA price was at this same level right before the last earnings. And at that time, I said something like this. I said, well, if NVIDIA crushes it, we're going to pop up above 140. If we get above 145, then the next target is going to be that 160 to 165 range. And I'm going to tell you that that same technical line is the same for today, okay? This has got to close out Friday above 140. And if it does, and we do that going into next week, then this is very easily going to be a $160 stock going into the middle of next week. That's what this has the capability of doing, but it has to have a shock and awe moment on Wall Street. There's got to be a far exceeding, not a meeting of expectation, but a beat and an exceeding and a raise of guidance. Everything has to come into alignment because at this point, without that lining up, it is an expensive stock still. Let's go, and it's got the headwinds of World War tariff and other unknown, unpredictable events. What we have learned from the last earnings till now is what I told you in the last earnings and many times after, that Wall Street would buy the dip on NVIDIA. And again, I got to think about a guy that made a comment to me a couple weeks back, and he said, I'm going to buy it when it goes sub 100. And I said, my friend, it's going to be $120 before this week is up. And of course it was, and it's only been moving higher and higher. Now, I do want to tell you that NVIDIA price is one of the trickiest prices to watch on Wall Street because it is all kinds of choppy with lots of pops and drops, making you think that the move is over, but it continues to chop higher. Well, now we're at the point where it has to make a decision. So how is Wall Street positioned? Well, as we got to this level where we're at, right underneath this important threshold of $140, we've seen the buying volume begin to fade or to dry up. So it's only going to come flooding in with an incredible earnings event. This truly has gotten up to this level where it can easily roll over. Now, as we're going to be getting their earnings tomorrow, I'm going to say that this video is not meant to predict to you which direction it should go. I predicted to you when we were down in the dumps that we would end up back here. I have to see how the market reacts to NVIDIA's earnings, and it's going to not just gauge NVIDIA, it's going to gauge all of big tech, because NVIDIA is the tip of the spear for the AI story. It's going to tell us whether the market believes that AI can beat this recession. That's the story that's on the table this week. That's what we have to watch very carefully. And we're going to not try to interpret or jump ahead or predict. We're going to follow the charts, and we're going to believe them when they tell us what they want to do, which simply means it opens up above 140 on Thursday morning and it closes that day at 140, and we maintain that price on Friday, then this thing is really going to push the markets into a buying frenzy, as people are going to believe that the negativity has been too much and been an overreaction, and the markets are going to climb. Now, I personally am going to do the exact same thing I did with that last earnings event, which is to lock in gains. I've been holding leap and skip calls on NVIDIA since April lows. And so I'm going to lock in the majority of it before the earnings. I'm just going to hold one or two through earnings to see what might have happened. But I'm going to lock in the gains because I have no reason to take great risk. The risk I took wasn't today, and it won't be tomorrow, and it won't be Thursday. The risk I took was when it was super hard to buy and these were down at $107. That was the day that I had to man up and take some risk and put my money to work. Now it's time to take the harvest. And even if this thing is going to rip up 140, 145, 150, yes, that would be a ton of money. But the fact is, if this is a great earnings and the market pushes it up above 145, there's going to be profit taking on Thursday, and I can watch it all day long and see what the market does and decide to get in. So let's look at unusual options. What is the smart money doing with this earnings event? Well, unusual options suggest that it's mixed. There was a huge sweep of calls going into this event. However, there was just not as large, but almost as large of a hedge that was put on in preparation of this event. So the smart money is saying that it's going to be high volatility. The range right now is largely 120 to 140, right? That's the range. We're in between that right now, and we're not going to see a massive move, more than likely, because the market's going to have a hard time digesting the fact that the company is winning, right? They are winning and doing well, but we're still in a bearish macro event with a lot of headwinds and uncertainties. And as a result, the price may not move as much as people are expecting. That's my overall view of it right now. But let me go over a couple technicals for you guys on NVIDIA so that we can have some targets in mind. Resistance is $145. Then after that, it's $151.90. Roughly, we could say 152. Now, that's your top of the range. Your bottom of the range move would be between 122 and 125. And if we were to pull back, I think we would bounce there because the market has already gotten oversold back here in the April month, and we're still going to trend higher until the market's given a substantial reason to break down. And how will you know when it breaks down? You're going to see a mammoth, giant red candle that seems to come out of nowhere, and no, we haven't gotten it. So until we get that type of global move in the market, these markets are chopping higher. And as I've said, that through the month of May and the first week of June, every little pullback would be an opportunity to buy. People have doubted me, but here we are getting towards the end of May, and that's proven to be 100% true. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, and see what Bitcoin does over the next couple of days. I'll let you know how things are here and what I learned from this event. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Make sure you check out the event between me and Ashley. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind special event. I'm leaving the link for that in the top pinned comment. Make sure that you attend. It's going to be highly educational. I'm pouring myself into that event. You don't want to miss it. Appreciate all of you guys. Peace and blessings. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to get the next video and the next hot play Guys, NVTS was an absolute rocket today. You don't have to get it right every day, but when you do and you get a 50% move, that can bring up your portfolio quite a bit. I'll be watching out for the next big play to give you guys. I always am. And the truth is, every single play that I've given you guys in recent videos, QBTS, given to you at around $16.50, shot up to $20. Both of yesterday's AI picks both went up like rockets. There's always a reason why I'm bringing them to you. Don't sleep on them. Tomorrow morning in the Stocks with Josh Discord, we're going to live trade again. We've been winning every single session. We haven't had to suffer any losses. We're patient. We wait. We snipe a nice little play, lock in a beautiful gain. Don't miss out on my next live trade session. There's also a link for the Stocks with Josh Discord where you can live trade with me. I'll leave that in the description of the video as well. Peace and blessings, my friends. Take care.